Hello, my dear ones. How are you? Each and every one of you, I hope, are strong, solid, and good. Surviving the, what they call that, pandemic? Oh my God. You know, don't let things freak you out. This is a birth, life, and death planet. You've got, nature is just so beautiful, you know? Sunsets and white sand beaches and beautiful mountains, and the beauty is unbelievable. And the violence is unbelievable. Nature will rip you apart and spit you out, and next, doesn't even care. So you've got both sides. Remember that. In creation you have duality. You have the positive, the beautiful, the sweet, the loving, and then you have the negative, the tearing, the ripping, the destroying. Chemistry fits in that. Magnetics fits in that. Everything fits in that when you're dealing in creation. But that's how we have form and everything else. So learning that from consciousness down into the physical world and the physical body should be your view, because you're shifting your point of view from this little helpless human looking up to this this infinite being that we don't, you can't even call it a being because that would define it. It's hard to verbalize anything that's infinite that has no beginning or no end. It's just very difficult, other than circles, spheres, things that don't have no definition to them, which is what? I mean, the mind can't live without definition. That's what the mind is for, is to define spirit in its duality form, in its duality movement. So it's funny, if you change your perspective, instead of being the helpless one, you now are the one, the knower, because you simply moved away from the conditioned mind. Mind is a conditioned instrument or vehicle that you're using to navigate. It gives you definition, it gives you a pathway to walk, a pathway to talk, all of this. Consciousness doesn't give you those. That's what's scary sometimes about leaving the world of the finite and defined into the infinite, when you're going from the defined into the infinite. But if you change your viewpoint and now you become the observer, you'll find that you just get getting bigger, bigger, bigger. The less you think, the bigger you get. Ooh, it could be interesting. So how now can you be? How much without thought? How much of an observer can you be without definition? Can you observe and let the mind register without you following it? That's what the next set of exercises are for you guys, is to learn how to be the observer, to watch, to know, and if you want the mind to engage, you keep it out here and engage it. You can watch your mind engage. The more you learn how to be in that present moment, the more your bodies will be outside of you. Fun stuff. Fun, fun, fun stuff. What's really should you care about? What's the one thing you should really care about in life? Your survival throughout eternity. Period. Your survival, not just in the now. Well, what about tomorrow? What about when it's your time to go bye-bye world, my time to leave? I'm going to a higher, greater adventure if I created that. What if I didn't create anything? Where would I be going? That might be a very powerful answer to that one, right? Because for those of you that are the seekers, don't be the seekers of God. Be the knowers of God. Change your perspective from the little seeker to the knower, because that's who you really are. You can't destroy yourself, and if you look at yourself as being deficient, that's what you'll be, is deficient. You call the shots, believe it or not. Everything you're experiencing, you're calling the shots. You might not realize that part of you that's calling the shots, but it's there. And the more that you work in the now, the more that you and that become the one. That's the higher self that people talk about when they're working from the limited little human body. And, oh, my higher self, which they're really talking about themselves. You can't have a higher self when you're the self. But you can play the game of that, the game of illusion. that there's the high, the low. But there's no survival in that. It's a game. It's your little play game. Your world's a play. But it isn't who you are. So getting to who you are, that is the nirvanic side of life. That is the happiness, the joy, the ecstasy. That's what you ought to seek. You are not anywhere but the now always. You're never anywhere. You might perceive yourself as over there, I'm walking over there, I'm walking over there, but in reality, when you become more conscious, you notice that consciousness does not move. It's ever present. That's one of the issues. And pretty soon the psychic thing, everything starts happening to you, and you start seeing things way in advance, and it's just all kinds of things. Because you're awake, you're seeing the universes at a vantage point, like looking at a beautiful sunset. You're back watching things and how that things are happening, instead of being lost in preconceived ideas and theories that are ridiculous, that are killing so many people and hurting people and things like this. All karmatically tied, though. Nobody gets away with nothing. So this is one of the problems, is don't let your unconsciousness take you down the road to misery or to your future and lock you into lifetimes of misery because you hurt people in this lifetime. Wake up. We've got a lot of work to do, all of us together. All right? All right. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in here. I do love you.